Good morning. I'm Debbie,
And I'm Christina.
and we are the Title Rebels.
Woo! Your title queens are back, baby.
And today we are here with Michele Agosta, who is Agosta Realty.
That is for sure.
I'm Agosta Realty Group. Hello, world.
The mama bear of the crew.
The Mama Bear. Yes, that's what they call me, the Mama Bear.
Well, I'm glad after these last few months of a hiatus, Debbie and I could still be sitting here with a smile on our face of a number of months where real estate just really has not kicked our ass to the curb.
Yes.
And then, caused us to never return.
Yes.
Exactly.
Well, medication helps with that.
Gosh knows every day.
Lots of prescriptions.
I got to make sure that that my medicine bag is put away. Some of the kids will say sometimes, "Mom, what you take all these pills every day?" And all I want to say is,
They're
"Baby,
vitamins.
because that's the only way that we're making it through."
Yes,
we have the
that's
red,
right.
the blue, the orange, and the white.
They're vitamins, children. Vitamins.
There is no shame in anything to make
get
the
us
day
through
go
the
a
day.
little bit easier. It's a
Yeah,
tough
amen.
business.
Amen. There's always an up and down, and the downs seem to get everybody in an uproar. But we got through 2023, pretty awesome. 24, we came out on top, and now we thrive in 25.
And I like
Yes.
that. I like that thrive in 25. You want to surround yourself by people that share that same positivity.
Yeah, you need to be motivated.
Positivity,
If you're not
the work
motivated,
ethic, everything.
if you're not motivated and positive and find the positive in every negative, you're gonna fail.
Well, I think that that's even more so now, right? And I think that it's weeded out. Again, we've discussed this in the past. We've discussed how, much smaller the real estate market has gotten. We're also seeing that within title, for example,
Yeah.
right? A lot of those smaller type shops that might not have been able to open up where their business is coming from, unfortunately are seeing some further challenges.
It's more thinking outside the box than the norm, what people are used to doing.
Well, I think that, when we get files that we have an opportunity to work on, for you and your amazing team, I always sometimes love getting back into that residential world where we're really, it's not just an investor who's adding another one to the notch on the belt and is going to flip this real quick, make a lot of money, and then move on to something else.
No, yeah, ours have stories behind them and reasons behind them, and it's knowing the why, right? So, like as a broker, can I get involved with all that BS? Yeah, but I want to be a master of my trade, and my wheelhouse is residential resale. First-time home buyers and elderly people, because I'm Mama Bear and I have a heart and I can take care of everybody.
You are Mama Bear.
And so the residential resale helps me coddle these people and help them and walk them through. Investing and all that other stuff, it's not as fulfilling, for sure.
Oh, I agree. I do agree on that. And I think that boils down because that's just a standard transaction for them. It's another thing.
Right.
It's another property. It's another notch on the belt. And they're missing out on that, that special,
That experience.
that special
Like,
type
look, we
of
just
experience.
did FAL, right? FAL
Yeah.
investors. And they could give a shit. They were like, whatever, here's a cash, let's buy it, hurry up and flip it, let's lift it.
Yeah.
And they really didn't care about anything. And I was
No.
like, wow,
No.
closing with them was miserable.
Yeah,
I didn't
no.
even take a picture. It's like you're not.
You don't even want to
picture-worthy.
document
We're,
it.
Yeah,
We are
no.
not
The
saving this
buyer-
memory.
The buyer was like, wait a minute, I got things to do, so I got to go. Even though sometimes we even hear that from home buyers. And that's where, one of the things on a recent closing that worked out so beautifully is that, Debbie and I like to forecast problems, right? And we like to forecast things that happen. For example, yesterday I had 3 files that closed in the morning or the afternoon and dragged all the way out into the evening. If we didn't have the ability to wire funds up until 6:30,
Oh, yeah. I thought that was a secret.
Well, the secret is out.
Told that it was
Shit,
a
the
secret.
secret's out. It is a secret. I
if Worldwide Title-
tell people 6:00. but-
Worldwide Title got it clear to close at 1 in the afternoon, and we closed at 4 p.m. You get a clear to close from the lender, and we closed at 4 p.m. So 3 hours later, CD was balanced, buyer was in the office, they were all ready to rock and roll, and Worldwide came through. Shout out.
Shout
It's those
out.
title queens, baby. We're back.
Always working.
And we're going to thrive in 25 with some of the best that are out there.
Well, with Worldwide Title, you will never get Oh, I'm sorry. We need more time to schedule this.
Yeah, I've never heard that yet. And since our venture together,
We will never say no to a
Almost at a
closing.
year
If we
now.
can-
June,
if we
well,
can
with
get it done.
June of
right.
23,
Yes,
right? Well,
official.
August, September.
So 6-7 months. I feel like
Something
it's
like
been
that.
forever, though.
Me
I
too.
mean, it's been such a nice
Been
collaboration.
so long with you guys. Oh, no, I'm kidding.
You know, the goal here, and as Debbie and I has always said, it's building lifelong relationships.
Yep.
Because it's fucking hard. This business
hard.
is hard.
It is
It is
rough.
brutal.
It is hard. It is for not the soft at
No.
heart. It really,
have to have a
really
thick skin.
is. You got to have a thick skin.
And you notice, you see a lot the lack of loyalty, lack of integrity. So when you do come with good partners like you guys, you know, there's no question. I like to keep my loyalty, my circle small. I know how you guys work. I know you always go above and beyond for Agosta Realty Group and myself. And look what you did for my son.
Well, that's what we're
But I
here to
know
do.
that's what you do for everybody.
treat
Because every
everybody like
single deal
family.
I've had with you has been seamless.
Well, you know, the goal, and that's what we look for, and we work very hard for that, and we certainly do appreciate those words. So
tell
let's
me-
get in.
So tell me,
Now
Michelle.
I'm done kissing ass. Let's go. What else can we do?
We need to know, how did you get into
do this.
The cult? How did I get into the cult? I think
That's
I
a
got
that's a
sucked
perfect
in.
way.
This was never my goal or intention to be in sales or real estate. I think I told you girls, I joined the military when I was 18. The goal was to become a New York police officer. I got pregnant with my oldest son. My husband was not about to let me become a
Absolutely
cop,
not.
and neither was my dad, who was a New York City
Police
cop.
officer.
So they were all like, "No, you gotta stay home with the kid." And I was like, "I can't just stay home and not do anything. It's not in me." I knew my brain was too
Sharp.
much more than
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
So a friend of mine said, "Hey, why don't you get into real estate? You're a good people person." I'm like, "Ew,
Are you,
boring.
wait a minute,
so
are, you,
boring."
are you still friends with that person?
I am actually. And this is before all the TRID rules and all that shit. He was he was a loan officer at Countrywide Home Loans. I started at Coldwell Banker. My husband was the appraiser. I had new construction handed to me, which in turn went to Countrywide Home Loans, which in turn went to my husband as the appraiser. So it was a wonderful circle. Until I moved out in 2008 when shit hit the fan.
Yeah.
Came out to Jersey, got my license immediately, and kept my head in the sand for quite some time, just doing my 6-8 deals a year. And then I wanted to grow and do a little bit more. Hence, I became a manager for some shit company,
Yeah.
some big franchise, we'll say, with a
That's what we
balloon.
say with the balloon.
Some balloon franchise. It's full of hot air. Anyway, became a
That's
manager
perfectly
there.
said, by the way.
And that balloon popped.
The balloon is popping actually right now. I just read some major thing. Their president of less than a year stepped down again. So they're through 2 presidents in less than a year.
It's tough.
Scary.
It's tough
This
all
is
over
why
the place.
I don't believe in
But,
franchise
but
bullshit.
everything happens for a reason. Like you
It
have
does.
to
And
take
it brought
certain
you to your
steps.
own amazing shop.
It forced me into my own shop. I never wanted to own, and I said, you know what, at this point, being a manager for another company, putting my all in recruiting people and training them and teaching them and cold calling and taking them on listings and splitting listings with them, what the hell am I doing that for somebody else? Let me do it for myself.
Exactly.
Absolutely. That's where you learn. You know, you always want to give to others, but that's when you learn is when you don't get a
Oh, yeah.
reciprocation back on that.
Yeah.
You know, and in this business and what we do, it's people all day long, right?
Yep.
You know, and reverting back to the large differences between the markets of the investors and then of course our residential buyers is if things are, not going as smoothly as they should throughout the process, you're the ones that are, you're their therapist, you're their financial advisor, you're their friend, you're their, you're acting in so many different roles where the pressure is then on you.
Yeah.
Right? So then the pressure from you, because you're taking it directly from the customer, is now onto the others. And it's at that point, do those others on the team perform as though they should under
Right.
that level of pressure? And
Well, when buyers talk to you guys, well, not that they really talk to you very often, but if they do, they have no idea what you're saying.
They
have no idea what the lenders are saying. So then they come to me and
Correct.
say, oh, the LO, the loan officer said such and such. What does that mean? Title said this. They're asking for this. And so I have to be the one to dumb it down for them, which is fine. I don't mind that at all. Actually, that's the easiest part of this job, dumbing shit down.
Well, I think too, it also then boils down to people that, I hate to say it, but if, there are a lot of times where all of a sudden email chains, have expanded tremendously. And now you've got buyers on the email, sellers on the email, the lenders on the email, the attorneys are on the email, the realtors are on the email. And then all of a sudden, there's too many cooks on that on that string, and then everybody starts getting nervous, and then we get the phone calls.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, Debbie and I will say, does your attorney know that you're calling us? No, we just saw your signature, so we wanted to give you a call ourselves. And that's where the level of professionalism still has to come into play, because there are still quite a few attorneys that, have that barrier between the level of communication. But that all boils down to
good
excellence.
Attorney. That's something I'm still looking for.
Yeah,
a good loyal
attorney, loyal client, good loyal attorney, good loyal anybody
with integrity.
Yeah,
that's a must.
You gotta have that
must have
level of
some
integrity. That's for sure. So you branch off. You say, I'm going to create this space. How did your family get involved? How did your oldest son elect to follow in Mama Bear's footsteps?
Who, congratulations, just bought a
Oh,
house.
yesterday he's on his
Congrats.
Second house.
25 years old.
God
so
bless.
Congrats to G. How did he get into it?
Shout out to G.
Shout out G. I didn't think either one of my sons gave a shit what I did. All they heard was like me complaining at dinner, and I mean my husband got it because he was in the business for a while, so I was able to vent to him. But I never thought the kids gave a shit. How did Gianni get in? So after high school he was in construction in the union in the city. Got in with my uncle's company, was doing that. Then COVID came, got laid off. And I said, well, come get your license. And he did. And I think that was 2019 it was, ish. 2019 he got his license because he was laid off right around that time. And then he just took off. I mean, and he's...
It's like those years, 19 to 21 are like such a blur.
Yeah, it's a
Such
blur.
a blur.
I don't even remember. 19, 20, 21, something like that. Whatever it was, during stupid COVID.
Thank you, China.
Yeah, thanks, China, because you got me a good cold caller, and he loves it, and I didn't think he would love it. And
No, he
thrives.
loves that.
He thrives. with it.
He's
He
that
really
one that
does.
He's
business
got that Mama
happens quick,
Bear's mentality.
but he's not as coddling as me. He's a lot more business happens quick.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
more relationship. He's more get it done, move on to the next, blah, blah, blah. I'm more, oh, let me help you. Okay, we can do this.
Here's a
You
tissue.
need
You need a tissue.
I'm going to get you a painter.
It also speaks volumes because that real estate exam is very difficult.
Yes.
That's not an easy
Yeah,
exam.
listen, when I took my broker's license, so when I came from my first test in New York, when I became licensed in New York, easy peasy, because I didn't know shit. So you memorize it, you study it,
Sure.
you pass it. Coming out to Jersey, first time I took my real estate license, I passed also because it was completely different.
Sure.
Didn't know shit. When I had to take my broker's test, I took it 5 times. Because it wasn't true.
Because you knew it and you overthink it and you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I'm like, that doesn't make sense. That's not what we do.
Right.
That's not true. This is not true.
Where's another option? It's not just A, B, or C.
Or they give you 3 options that are applicable to the question,
Yes.
and you got to pick the best one. Well, who's to say which is the best one, the test or me?
See, you overthink it.
Overthink it, try to
Always.
make sense of it, and then I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm in the business this many years and I can't pass my broker's test. But,
Yeah, but
finally got
that's-
it done, and it's passed me, thank God.
And look now.
And look now.
How many agents
kind
do you
of.
have?
We're up to 22, so I just
Great.
hired 2 more. 22 agents, not including Gianni, my son, who's the partner. And now my little guy, Sal's taking his test.
Oh, is he coming into the business?
Nice.
I don't know if he really wants to be in the business, but
But
I
it's
told him
nice to
just
do it
do
on
it.
the
Just
side,
get
right.
your
Just
license.
do it and have it.
Yeah,
Just do it.
just in case.
Especially because he's in school, so you have that mentality of studying and just being
Yeah.
mindful. You're reading. It's not like you're coming back into something where you have to put time and effort into endless hours of studying.
And he's a good test taker, that little one. He's got like a photographic memory. So he's in Brookdale right
God
now.
bless.
I said,
That's
"You
awesome.
do it while you're in Brookdale before we go to, figure out what your major is going to be.
Sure.
Do it now, get it out of the way." And so he's doing it too. But it's all of my agents are family, so I call them my family.
Well,
That's what
Ross,
I always
I mean,
used to say.
You're with the people at work more than you're at, at home.
True, very true.
So like my
True, but
my
sad.
kids got my kids have aunts that they didn't even know they had because of the business.
No, it's,
This is Aunt so-and-so. You never met.
we
but-
never met them, but
Right.
we're
I
really
love it.
close at work. So this is an adopted
Right.
aunt or uncle. I always said that. I always viewed and discussed my people as my family.
Yep.
You take pride when an employee gets their first car,
Yes.
can buy their first house, and that always warmed my heart because it's, they're feeling comfortable. They know that they're in a good place,
Yeah.
that they're in a place where they can trust you, where they can make such a financial,
Mm-hmm.
large investment and know that they have a job to go to that's going to afford them that home.
Yeah, true.
And with the lack of leadership, I think that anybody may be hesitant of that. But you can tell. You walk in, your place feels so homey. It's homey. It's welcoming.
Thank you.
I love going into
Try to
the
make it that
conference
way.
room where it's almost like you're brainstorming.
That's because there's wine around all the time. That's why I like on this. Always some liquor. Whip out the peanut butter screwball before we do cold calls. That
Yeah,
kind
Look,
of
it's
stuff.
liquid courage.
It
You
is.
need the liquid
It
courage.
is. And I've said it in the past. I used to be a recruiter, and one of the biggest things, of course, I don't have an issue with the gift of gab, but there would
No
be
kidding.
others
No
that
kidding.
would come in. See, I'm still chatting, and it doesn't even faze me.
Yeah.
So others would come in, and they would be so nervous on getting on a call, because not only are we
Yeah.
in essence cold calling, but back then we were calling people at their desk of their job to pitch them
Okay.
a new job. So even more so. So I remember one day my boss came in with bottles of vodka. And he put them, not that of course we promoted, drinking on the job, but
Drink on the job.
he
Gotta stay
said,
hydrated.
if you can take a shot or two, get the edge off,
Yes.
and get, just feel comfortable, then, I would support this. And I always said, well, no shit, because you're bringing it in, and thankfully nobody ever took it too far.
Right.
But
Nobody's getting sloshed.
no,
I mean,
it's a way
throwing one
though that it helps.
Yeah,
it
it
just
does.
helps.
It does.
How many? I guess obviously a part of, until you build your book of business, most of the work that you're doing is cold calling, door knocking, getting yourself out there.
No.
Depends on the person. Like,
Or does
if
nobody-
you know how to work your circle and your sphere of influence and the people that you're in touch with every day, you don't have to cold call. But if you're consistent with anything, like even posting, Facebook is like the easiest
Correct.
platform in the world to use. It's free marketing. It's easy to use. It's foolproof. Like, I'm working with a client right now. I haven't heard from her since 7th grade. I haven't seen her.
Wow.
She reached out to me because of Facebook. I have to say there's been at least 10 clients that I've worked with that came from elementary school, junior high school, from Brooklyn that I haven't seen in years, which is awesome.
Well,
It's
it is.
really awesome to see. But if you're consistent with it, I mean, I didn't really have to ever cold call, which was lucky for me. But when I do it with the agents, what I try to tell them is, if you make it like you're calling on behalf of someone or you're giving something, it's not as scary. If you call somebody with the intention to ask for something, like I'm asking you, Mr. Seller, for your business, you're going to be screwed up. If you call them and say, hey, I'm giving you something, which would be information, giving you information on the house that just listed down the block from you, went under contract in 2 days with multiple offers, here's the price. Oh my God, the sellers are crazy. The mentality changes. It makes it a little easier for the agent to cold call them.
Correct.
So
when you have information,
yeah,
and you know something, I think a lot of it is fear, right? We're still
yeah.
getting into fear. We're getting into, the fear of where do the empty nesters go, right? Do they start making it a little
Florida.
bit more? Yes, I was going to say,
Good
do they
Florida.
start making it a little bit more south? They're heading to, the 55 pluses that have completely taken over Ocean County, or you go that far down where the birds go in the winter.
Yeah.
But I think if an agent can also educate on, yes, I would love for you to list your house with me, but I also have ideas as to where you can go and start this next chapter of your life. I can imagine that also kind of
that's fun too.
Eases some nerves.
Yeah, and most of the older people I have, like I just got a call last week. I think I sold his kids' houses maybe like 7 to 10 years ago ish. He called me. He thinks he's ready to go to Florida. I go assess his house with a new agent that I just picked up. I said, "You're gonna sell in 5 minutes." He's like, "What?" I gave him the price. He looked at me like I was crazy. They lived there for 30-something years.
Oh,
they don't understand. This is not 30-year-ago market. The market is insane. So he's terrified that he's going to sell in a day.
And then he's not going to have
I'm
anywhere
like,
to
don't
go.
worry. Go put your deposit on your Florida adult community, because that's where he's
Sure.
going. And we'll get you up and ready, and you'll be sold in a week. That's just now, though.
Correct.
Before COVID, and it wasn't even COVID that made the prices really go skyrocket. This started happening before COVID was even a thing. 2018. We were seeing just this mass exodus from New York into New
Correct.
Jersey.
That's true, they were.
And they were all coming in. And so most of my business is referral business, New York to New Jersey. And I was running everywhere with these people, especially along the Route 9 travel, right?
Correct.
Because that's what they know. Freehold Mall. Okay, so we go to Old Bridge,
everything is,
Marlboro.
what exit on the turnpike are you? Where do you live? Oh, exit 7, exit 8. And that's
Yeah.
how everybody knows the area.
Yep.
What exit on the turnpike?
So the exodus from New York started prior to COVID. COVID just was the icing on top that made it nuts.
Oh my God.
COVID was the
But,
booster with the
Yeah, I have
shovel
an
out.
agent that she got an offer on a house under asking price. And she got licensed during COVID, so she never experienced this before. And she calls me in a panic. She goes, "Oh, I got an offer on the house, but it wasn't over asking price." And I started to laugh. I'm like, "What was it?" It was only $10,000 underneath the list price. And she's like, "Oh, it was like, whatever, it was like $650. I'm like, "So? That's okay." I'm like, "This is okay. This is
kind of normal.
negotiating."
This is a part of what we're to do.
Yes.
Negotiate.
I'm like, now you negotiate. This is what it should be, even though that was like a one and done situation.
Yeah.
But she had no idea that would happen, that she would get on their asking price. And it was quite funny, and I was laughing. I said, "This is hysterical." I can't wait, though, until we go back to that negotiating world where you feel like you got to win. And you have to kind of work a little for your listing. I'm not proud to say, "Oh, I listed something and it sold 100,000 over." I didn't do shit to make that happen. The buyers are the ones that made that happen. I didn't make that happen. I marketed the property the way I should have. I priced it accurately. And the buyers, which are now vultures at the moment, there's 10 buyers for every one house.
Correct.
They're the ones that are doing it. I can't say, "Oh, I did such a great job." No, and if any agent says they did such a great job, you're full of shit. Because it's not you that's selling the house. The house sells itself.
The house sells itself.
House sells itself.
Oh, I think even houses, unfortunately, there's a couple of them that, especially in the empty nester area, where there's still, some of that stuff is still all original. And those houses are even going. Yeah, of course, they're not going to go for as much as the completely redone, but you're still going to pay a pretty penny for that structure, that piece of land, that neighborhood, regardless if it needs $100,000 worth of a kitchen and bathrooms.
As long as it's clean, just be clean. That's it. You don't even
People
have
can
to be
always
updated.
move in and do stuff with
Right.
it.
If you're
Everybody's
clean and you
always
can
going
live
to
there.
That's why when I sell, it's going to be as is. An as is. If my kids are in the house, they're coming with it and all the bills.
Yeah.
It's as
and all the
is.
animals.
And all the animals.
As
and all
is.
the king's horses and
all the
king's
king's
men.
men. Exactly.
To me, that's what as is.
So it sounds as though things, I think, have made a fairly large improvement I think that we've improved. I think that month after month, I'm seeing more things. Yes, we're in January. I always used to say to my crew, they would all get so nervous. Relax with the January jitters. It's normal. This is what the world is. If we're truly self-employed individuals, which we know every agent in essence is, you have to, again, forecast that January, February, March are going to be very difficult times. So if you, I paid a lot of money in therapy to hear, if you anticipate and if you know that something like that's going to happen, then when it does, it's not going to be that much of a shock.
And you know what? There should never be downtime. If there's downtime, then work on marketing.
Exactly.
If there's downtime, then
There's
work
always
on social
something
media.
to do in this
right.
industry.
You have the time where you're not running buyers or going on listing appointments and you're dormant. Do something with yourself.
I mean, I'm still the person who kept saying during COVID, I have so much time, I'm going to clean out my closet. My closet's still
happen?
not.
Oh.
Right, it's still
No,
not
you didn't
I had
have
to go
time for
check
shit
listings,
during
too.
COVID. You had a freaking, you had a boss that I'll never forget the day that your car got sideswiped in the front of the street, and I looked outside and I said, "Well, are you gonna? You're not gonna go." You're gonna stay, right? You're gonna stay here. I didn't even turn around.
She never even saw the car. The window was behind her. As I'm asking her, can I go follow my car to the car shop and I'll log on at home. The window behind her, I'm seeing my car being towed, and she's like, "But you're gonna come back to work, right?"
COVID was insane. You have to understand that, though. COVID was crazy. You had refis falling from the sky.
Yeah.
You had houses. Everybody was putting their
Closing
houses
in
on the
parking
market,
lots.
closing in
my
the
God.
parking lot,
Yes.
closing
Do
on
you
the
want
roof
fries
of the
with
car,
that? You could go to the
closing.
window.
But you know what? That now fast forward, and we still do a lot of that stuff. If the attorney is somewhere and the house happens to be here, the clients will say, "Hey, can we just go to a Panera?
Yeah.
Can we just do this?"
And close
Hey,
it
and I
down.
feel
not only
that
that,
it's-
I met on a Thursday night, a Wednesday night, Thursday night.
You did. You went. Where'd you go?
I went to Temple in Deal. And there was
She did.
shout out, there was a wedding going on, and here I come with the closing package because the father didn't realize he had to come to the closing.
Oh.
So he was on his way back from Atlantic City. He's like, "But I have to go to Temple," and I'm like, "Okay, but you're Orthodox, so we're not going to be able to be together at Temple if I come." No, there's a private room.
There's a secret
There's a secret
room.
room. So I went. There's a wedding going on, and I was at Temple, and
And then you closed
we,
at Temple?
we closed
We
it.
closed
We
at
closed the
Temple.
deal. and
Interesting. You're allowed to do business at Temple?
We do business
Okay,
everywhere,
okay.
anywhere,
We do business
anytime,
anywhere.
24/7.
24/7, we will go anywhere, even to your, places of religious faith. And that's what we do. It was really critical. It was nice. The father was assisting and helping the son who was buying a new house for him and his family. And, again, there are a lot of times where that other person will say, "Well, do I have to be here?" And we'll say, "Well, you don't have to sign your name 100 times, but there's a couple pieces of paper that you do have to sign."
Right.
And it's a wonderful thing, too, because we don't have to be so rigid at that point when you could see the husband is excited to have just purchased a house and then potentially a title company saying, "Well, I guess you're going to have to come back tomorrow." The
Yeah.
agent, I think, jaw went to the ground when Debbie was like, "No, I'll meet you at Temple. What time? 8:00? Sure."
Yep.
And at this point, it's 5. So you go home, you did what you needed to do, and you drove out to deal. And that's it.
That's what a hustler does.
That's it. I don't see it doesn't have to be that hard. It's very simple.
No.
And it's care. It's care.
It's care, right.
Care.
Go a
You're
little bit out of
caring.
your way, make the client happy. It boggles my mind sometimes when attorneys don't want to leave the cushiness of their office and they just want to sit back and have the title closer come to their office and not at all accommodate the client. If it's not accommodating the client, like I just sold a house to one of my loan officers, Jen. Her attorney wanted her to come to Staten Island to close her Jersey house. So I was like, that's a little shitty. You should go out of your way. Come to a neutral ground. COVID was cool. I was showing houses on video. It was really fun.
But how many things have we since adopted from that? that we have
True.
actually we maintain in this existing space.
True.
You know, those types of videos, those types of way to showcase. Now you can properly showcase that home to maybe your California buyer, your Florida buyer that's looking to come back, right? Now we're incorporating things that we used to.
And they'll do it. Now they'll buy
Sight
over a
unseen,
video.
possibly,
Yeah.
or a video, or taking your judgment, taking
True.
your best interest and your judgment. You know, so those are all really
we've had
good
Dina
things.
go to Wawa.
We did.
Dina
We had
went somewhere
Dina
at
went to a
Wawa.
Wawa. So before we, wrap up, we need a crazy story. I need a crazy story.
All right, you want a closing story or?
I want any story.
All right, so here's kind of one that was crazy. I had the buyer. Ironically, my old broker had the listing. I didn't even know her yet at this time. And we're coming up to close a divorce sale. It seemed as if the woman, the wife of the divorce, was in denial that her house was being sold. My buyers were coming from Staten Island. We do the walkthrough that morning, was closing that afternoon. And the lady is still living in the house. Didn't pack a thing.
Oh, wow.
There's a shit in the toilet.
See, still as
Washing
is.
machine is going. Food is full in the fridge. And she was really in a mental, like, I'm not leaving here. So I call my buyer's attorney in Staten Island. I'm like, listen, you better hold back at least $40,000. This lady's nuts. We need an escrow.
And she
She's not.
didn't sign off the deed, right?
She didn't do anything. She didn't do anything.
Nope, that's
The husband
so
did
tough.
it. She signed some of it. That was
Yeah,
one
but
crazy story.
She's staying.
Then
until she
probably the
signs.
one that went down in history in the attorney's office. So I went to work for a real estate attorney for a little bit, in Red Bank, to learn the other end of
Sure.
the business, right? And I loved him. His name's Charlie Karcher. He's still alive. He's an older guy, but he's
Sure.
so awesome. Love him. So I worked with him, and it was a lot of fun. I had clients that were first-time home buyers coming out of a trailer park. In Brooklyn, we don't have trailer parks. I never been in one till I moved to Jersey.
Yeah.
We have projects.
Yep.
You come to Jersey, you go into the trailer park. I met this buyer at her trailer. I was shit terrified. So scared. Legitimately, a dude in a rusty pickup truck who they named Red came around, and he would pick up everybody's garbage and stuff, and his name was Red, and his pickup truck was red, and it was rusty. It's like the epitome of exactly what you think. So I get her and her husband want to buy a house. I get them a house. Really nice couple. She wanted to get her son out of the trailer, so
Sure.
that was like such a goal. Like I was
Of
like, I gotta help
course.
these people get out of there. So we get them a house, and that was also a divorce sale. So my couple, husband and wife, buying the house, seller was getting divorced. So at that time, we were all at the closing table
Yep.
together. My buyers had made certain requests of repair from the seller husband. Seller husband says yes. Wife never does it. Husband doesn't even live there. Husband's moved out already.
Wow.
He agrees to make these repairs, but the day of walkthrough, there's no repairs made.
Oh.
So we're at the closing, and my buyer husband, the husband buyer, starts calling the seller, see you next Tuesday, at the attorney's
Terrible.
office, screaming at her. I grab him by his shirt. I said, get the fuck out of here. We ran outside on the fire escape. I said, smoke a cigarette. You cannot be talking. You can't speak like this
Yeah.
at a closing. He's cursing around, and the husband seller is hysterical laughing. He loves that his ex-wife is getting cursed at, and he thinks it's awesome. So Charlie Crutcher told me that story went down in history, and he tells it all the time. So I'm like, oh, it's good. I'm glad I could bring a highlight to
A
the
highlight
office.
to the day.
Yep.
You know, then maybe you guys went downstairs and had some pasta.
We did, actually. We did have lunch at, what is it called?
La
Trattoria.
Pastaria?
Yep, that's it.
La
That's
Pastaria.
it. The yellow place. That's
The
what I used to
yellow
call
place.
it. Little yellow place.
Well, listen, it's wild, it's crazy. It's the real estate world. Any way that you are in this world, in anything from an attorney standpoint, homeowners insurance, agent, inspector, we all have to work together, and
Yes.
we're all there for the common goal. And that's bringing the new home to the
buyer
customer.
to have the their American dream.
The American dream. Indeed, indeed.
Debt is the American dream. Get with it. Get into it.
Exactly.
Join us, won't you?
Join us in the
Join
world of
us.
debt.
Join us
Come
in the
join
world
us.
of debt. Well, I'm Christina,
I'm Debbie.
I'm Michele Agosta.
and we are the Title Rebels. Happy to have you here. We will be back now on a
More monthly basis.
more monthly basis.
And we're going to have Michelle back because we still have a lot more to discuss.
We've got
with her.
part 2.
Oh, part 2 is coming up.
Part
Sit
2
tight.
will be coming up to
We
sit
throwing
tight.
some people under the bus, things like that.
I hope you learned some things today and you got a chuckle. We certainly did. Until next time.
Bye.